Hey there in YouTube land. So we just finished watching something. It's see if you can actually picture this from like I'm gonna give a vague description. You've seen the thing then, but anyway, we're gonna do this anyway. So basically,
close your eyes when you're clicking on the video.
Yeah, think of it like a guy has a device, and he's like going through different times or kind of dimensions type of thing,
Time, space, and all that sort of stuff.
And ending up in all these different like places. He's sliding through all these different different times and stuff.
And every single time he has to stop like villains from doing something and then use this device to find the next portal to then...
We're still trying to get home. And no, it's not quantum leap, it's much more sliders. It's very sliders.
Yeah.
But it's not sliders, obviously, because you're watching this, and obviously we're talking about Waxworks 2 Lost in Time. Anthony Hitchcock actually came back to direct a sequel to the classic Waxworks film.
Wow.
And this is... What a cast. First off, before we even go into the film, I want to talk about the cast here. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
David Carradine.
Yep.
Alexander Goodenough is in this one. Michael DeBar is in this film. That's your favorite role. Hey, yeah, basically it's kind of a really campy type character. There's a lot of camps. Bruce Campbell. Well, let's go through...
yeah.
Basically, it picks up literally where the last one left off. Now, Deborah Foreman is no longer playing the lead. They've got another actress, actually, Monica Schnarr.
May I just say, worst character. She's just terrible.
She does.
Not only is like she's not very good. Like she's not nearly as good as acting as the last girl, but she's just terrible. Her character is consistently awful. Every time they jump between a world, she forgets who she is. She has less sense of self than a blade of grass. On a whim, she's immediately forgetting who she is. It's hilarious how like frustrated I was getting at just they'd switch you into a world and she's like, "I'm going to marry the king," and I'm like,
"It's not.
You can't forget again. He hasn't forgotten once. What's your problem?"
It's not a feminist horror film. We got to say that.
No.
But basically, we start off with it basically ending exactly where the last one went off, except we have Monica Schnarr in the role.
Yeah.
And I guess she does what she can with the role that's given to her.
Yeah.
Now, there's a hand that escapes, like one of the wax hands escapes. We see that right away. Basically, they both go home, and you think they're going to just go back to normal, and we're just going to find a way to get to it again. But what happens is her father, who's actually played by a kind of Western actor, and he's like a genre actor, George Buckflower. Yeah, that was him. But he plays what looks to be kind of an abusive dad, maybe.
Yeah, there's this really weird scene where he raises his backhand to her to hit her, and then he stops and he almost looks shocked at his own actions, and he's like, just go to bed,
Yeah,
and
it was a really good scene.
Yeah, weirdly enough, there's a deep ass scene hidden at the very beginning of this film.
There's
and even afterwards, when we see him and when he thinks the hand, which shows up on his chair, is her, he's like, "Listen, I don't want to deal. I'll deal with you tomorrow. Just go to bed. It's fine." And I'm like, wow, there's the mention of her mother dying. She looks at the picture of it. I'm like, wow, this is a surprisingly deep scene for the beginning of Waxwork 2.
Yeah, this is going to be some serious character development that's going to go on in this film.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that happens. And then, so she comes out to help fight the hand,
which is strangling him now.
She gets it off of him, but the hand comes back with a hammer. And then seen right out of Evil Dead, the hand.
Not only does it beat him to death with the hammer, it jumps on, she picks it up and tries to, attack it. So it picks up a bottle of mustard and starts spraying it in her face.
Yeah.
And then it brings her, out to the kitchen as they're fighting, and it throws onions and relish on her face. And then throws hot dog buns at her, onto her face. And she throws it into the trash chute thing.
To the garbage disposal.
I don't know what they're called. I'm too young for that to be a thing. I don't know what that is. It's like a sink, but it destroys garbage. I don't know. It was in Gremlins too, I think, but I don't know what it is.
So anyway, she throws it into the garbage disposal in the sink, and we get a ton of blood. So it sets the tone for this scene sets the tone for the entire movie.
Oh, absolutely.
There's going to be a bunch of humor in here. She's going to be
a lot of slapstick stuff.
A lot of slapstick. It's going to be very Evil Dead 2-ish. There's going to be a ton of gore, and it's going to be a fun ride. You can tell right away there's going to be a fun ride.
Originally, I thought, like, when Dad was like, let's pick movies, I'm usually indecisive about what we get. I don't like making decisions. So Dad's always like, look at all these stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's been interesting, and he's like, let's watch Waxwork too, and I was like, oh, I loved Waxwork. It was an anthology horror film. Sort of. It was like a quasi-different sort of thing with a really interesting mythology to it. And I remember at the time I said, I wish there was a Waxwork too, and you're like, yeah, it was a really cool movie, and you never said a goddamn thing. But then you were like, there's a Waxwork too, and I'm like, oh, another anthology. What I expected was kind of probably the same premise, but in a different place. When it started up with, like, the other stuff, I was like, oh, maybe we will follow them a bit more, and then it ends with, like, her destroying the hand, and her going, like, you said it was over. I thought, oh, maybe this is, like, a bridge into the whole Waxwork thing, and now we'll start with a different thing. Absolutely not. No, she goes on trial for killing her dad, and she's like, it wasn't me, it was a hand thing.
Nobody,
ironically, the only one who, like, partially believes her is Tabitha, who...
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, Juliet Mills is in this movie. Passions fans, by the way, Juliet Mills, who played the witch, Tabitha, in the series Passions, is a liar. So, and her husband is actually in the film as well.
Is he?
Yes, Maxwell Caulfield is her husband in real life. And he's from, Colby's and Grease 2. Which is kind of cool because it must have been a real treat for Drew Barrymore, because if anybody that's seen, like, any documentaries on Drew Barrymore knows that her favorite movie of all time is Grease 2. Oh. And she actually got to act with, in a way, she was in the same film as Maxwell Caulfield. And I'm guessing that's kind of a geek moment for her, because we've all got our geek moments, even other actors, because she was a huge fan of Grease 2. And so Juliet Mills and her husband, who played Maxwell Caulfield, who played Michael Carrington on Grease 2, and would ironically go to play Miles Colby in Dynasty 2, a series that is spun off from the show about Carringtons. Was in this film as well, in an alien sequence. But we'll get to that. I just random trivia.
Just a bunch of random trivia. Where were we? She was on trial for father death because of Hand Monster. And they're all like, what are we going to do? So they go back to Sir Wilfrid?
Sir Wilfrid, yeah.
Sir Wilfrid's apartment from the last movie. And they're like, we got to find some way to prove that there was an actual walking around hand. And a video of him comes up and is all like, well, guess what? It's me again. In only stock footage thing that I could give you so that you can, like, progress the plot. You are now, like, given the key to, like, my area full of artifacts and stuff like that. And then I turned to Dad and I said, wouldn't this make a really good TV show?
Yeah.
Like, because there's a part where he's like, this is amazing. This is where it starts to, like, roll in. But, like, there's a part where he's like, wow, Van Helsing stuff. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool? I didn't get to finish this thought when we were talking because it was a good movie and I was getting food at the time. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if, like, there's an episode where, like Dracula came out or something and they had to fight him and they used the stuff from the, like, archives and stuff like that. I didn't even know how amazing this fucking TV show would be.
Jason Voorhees' mask was in this.
Yeah. It's like obviously a not. Just like all of their
Jason
other
Voorhees'
references.
Mask without being
it was
sued.
Like a real goalie's mask but with, like, red blood all over it and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, it's Jason. And they'd have some freaking balls with some of these, like, ones, though. So basically, they use this thing called, like, the time portal finder. I forget what it's called, really. And they fall through time into originally Frankenstein's thing. And
no, actually, she gets taken from him. She kind of falls off from him. While they're holding hands, and the demon flying creature from Evil Ted 2 comes up and picks her up. 2 or 3, I think, actually. Comes and picks her up and takes her somewhere. Which we don't know where she is right away.
It's the end of the Army of Darkness.
Is it the Darkness?
Yeah, because remember he fights in the store?
Yeah. So anyway.
Which I didn't think it was important to mention because it never shows up again. But, it does. That thing happens. They end up in Frankenstein time taking the place of 2 different people. He remembers who he is. She never remembers ever until he's like, God damn it, Sarah, shut up. And she's like, oh, Mark, it's you. I thought I was Frankenstein's wife for some reason.
Elizabeth.
So Frankenstein looks awesome.
The monster. Frankenstein's monster looks awesome.
Sorry. Frankenstein's monster.
That's a pet peeve of mine, actually.
I know, Adam, whatever you want to call him. I don't know why I call him
Prometheus.
Frankenstein, considering the fact that I actually really, really, really like the story as well. I went to see it in like theaters, like a stage play in theaters. I like it that much. It costs like, I got it for free, but the ticket, because I had a special ticket, but those tickets I was able to pay for them, cost like $30.
Yeah.
He looks cool.
The makeup's really good. It's Bob Keane. It's the same guy that did the makeup.
Reminds me a little bit of, honestly, the Crypt Keeper from, or not the Crypt Keeper, the Creep. What is he called from Creepshow 2?
The Creep. That's what it's called.
Yeah, the Creep from Creepshow 2.
But
kind of like a muscular creep from Creepshow 2.
The makeup is really
shit gets gory there immediately.
We see right from the beginning.
There's
big splatter scene.
But like this is one funny scene, like where the monster's got Frankenstein. He's got his head down. He's squeezing it, and like all of his teeth pop out.
Yeah.
And then he starts pouring out blood.
It's
and
awesome.
Then one of his eyes pop out.
It's
and
awesome.
It's all hitting the main guy, and his other eye pops out, and he's like, "Oh God, no!" And then he like crushes his head, and his brain flies towards the other guy, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this film is loving its gore. And then they go through
if you're a gorehound, you're gonna love this movie, man, because it's gore in the best way possible.
Then they use the device to go through their second portal. By the way, still not sliders, and it even has like that sort of effect to it too.
It does have sliders stuff.
And they end up in two very different places. One ends up in literally aliens, like
girl.
They were using like.
That's where Max.
During the first film and like the first little bit of this, it was all like you know, like open like stuff, like free. What is it? What's the word for it again? I don't know why I'm forgetting the word. Things anyone can write about. What's it called again? The word's escaping me right now.
Are you talking about like kind of basically where you don't have to pay type thing?
Yes, I don't remember the word though for some reason. I don't know. I'm a writer. I don't even remember the fucking word for. But you know,
when it gets into stuff like
stories that are public, and then like
public domain, you mean?
Public domain. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, but now it's going to get into some stuff on at least part of it.
Because
like aliens is going to get. It gets into kind of like
he goes into the haunting, and she goes into aliens, and I'm like
the haunting one is completely like her name is Eleanor and everything.
Yeah, at first I was like, well, because the first thing you see of it is like, I'm like, okay, well, yes, it's got a lot of similarities, but you know, it's like it can easily just be like a ghost film if you want to do it. But like when it goes to her and they're on the spaceship just above Earth,
wearing the same outfits, as
wearing the exact same outfits. There's a pre-alien burst out of like one of their chests, and I'm like, this is literally just Alien right now. This is fully Alien. And then they show the monster, and I'm like, that's literally just like an alien monster with like the queen's head design with the jaw of Predator. And I'm like, wow, holy crap, this is Alien right now, and they don't even care.
And meanwhile, with the other story, the haunting story, we get Bruce freaking Campbell. This is such awesomeness.
Funniest scene.
Oh my god. He's in a fight with like this possessed girl, because this is like the ghost story haunting with Evil Dead mixed into it, and so and a little bit of the end of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 when you think about like the trying to concentrate in the body type thing, and a bunch of other ghost stories. But anyway, so there's a huge scene where he's fighting this creature, and of course Bruce Campbell has had his chest ripped open, so like there've been things like he's been like getting like things knocked into this open chest cavity, which is really hilariously done actually. She's throwing stuff. She picks up a bag of salt, literally on the bag it says bag o' salt. A bag of salt, not salt or like bag o' salt. This is definitely being played for laughs.
Yeah, and he throws it and he goes all this stuff, and like afterwards he's like, oh please get me water, and he's like got a bucket of water and he throws it, and he just goes,
it's
like,
vinegar.
And he looks, it's vinegar, and he's like, I'm sorry, and he's like, it's okay. It's the thought that counts. Earlier on, he had dropped him too.
Job. There's a lot of like slapstick humor in this one here. It's really funny. It's really well done.
Only a flesh wound.
He actually says, "I'm waiting." Was waiting for that line for the entire thing. As he's
Will
leaving,
you be okay?
It's only a flesh wound.
Yeah,
he's like the nicest guy ever.
Yeah,
that's the professor. Like
he's got his chest open. Like when it first happens, when he's like, "Oh, you got to find like the book and stuff like that," or it's like someone to get me down. He's got his chest open. He's like, "I remember the first time you told me about spooky like ghost stuff in college." and like it was like to prove that the ghost was like bending the spoon, and I knew it wasn't real, but I just wanted to like not embarrass you in front of that girl you liked and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my god, and he drops them down onto his ribs.
He hits the wrong rope.
Yeah.
Try and get him down, and he falls, bam, right on the ribs after they open up. It's really well done.
Pull him up and like pull the bits out so it doesn't get infected, and he's still telling these like nice stories.
Yeah.
And as he's pulling big parts out, he's like, "Oh, it's a big one. I understand."
Yeah. Meanwhile, the alien story's going on, and that's okay. It's like you really want
to that doesn't have the main guy in it is usually boring as shit. Like
you just wanted to get back to Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
You want to get to Bruce Campbell at storyline.
Because it's Bruce Campbell.
It's
Holy
Bruce
shit.
freaking Campbell, man. It's a horror movie. This horror movie has Bruce. Own this, please. Scream Factory, please put out these two.
Oh, that'd be awesome. We did a Scream Factory video earlier.
Please,
just put those out.
These are amazing. These are great films, especially the second one. I mean, like the first was awesome too.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves though.
Anyway, okay,
we're halfway through the film, because that's the thing. Like the first half of this film is anthology stories.
Sort of anthology.
Like,
kind of a weird.
Like a weird.
It's keeping
episodes
the Waxwork
of the TV series sort of thing.
Yeah.
Keeping the Waxwork story idea, but at the same time, you know.
The neat thing about this, and I got to say this now before we go any further, because we're going to be going to the main story part real soon.
Yeah.
Is that it's good. I think that one of the main strengths is that the original director came back with a lot of the original people working behind the scenes, a lot of the original cast. I'm guessing more than likely, I'm not sure, but I would say that probably if it's not the same writer, then it's at least the same visionary.
Yeah.
And we get to see, for once, a sequel that's not just regurgitating what was done before.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you're expecting at first. We're going to get
I was fine with it because I really liked the first one, so I was like, I like the concept. Let's do this again. But
it seriously adds on to the mythos.
Oh,
this is what we're getting to right now, actually.
Because he returns to her after saving like the day in the haunting storyline,
and he talks about other stuff that he's done.
Yeah,
just
when
like
he
in Sliders.
shows up to
Just
her. Yeah, when he shows up to her, she's like, "Do you still have Frankenstein's book?" Because one of the stupidest lines in the entire film, by the way, is when they were in the Frankenstein world. They took Victor Frankenstein's book on how to reanimate the dead because he was like, if I have this book, we can totally prove that you didn't kill your dad.
Because we can show that reanimating flesh is an actual thing.
And they're like, yeah, let's totally do this. And she's like, do you still have the book? And he's like, the
Loch Ness Monster.
He's like, the book. Oh, no, the Loch Ness Monster ate that. But when I was, like, in Haiti, you should have seen what I got. He's got this, like, big, like, sacrificial table. He's like, this is for making zombies, too. And she's like, oh, shit. But one of the aliens pop in, the Nazi no more, and they get into a fight, and it results in him losing his time turner thingy. So they have to just jump through the portal, like, on their own.
And here we get the next epic cameo, and it is David Carradine.
Yes.
We get David Carradine in this film.
And the start of, like, a couple, like, Edgar Allan Poe references, too.
Oh, yeah.
Lenore.
Lenore, yeah, the Lost.
The Lost Lenore.
Yeah. The Lost and Radiant Maiden that the angels call Lenore.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was Raven reference. It's pretty much Raven reference that I would give.
Yeah, it's interesting to come back to it. And it comes to one of the things that I had to make fun of for half the film because it does bother me a little bit. Just a little bit, because this film's really good. We meet our final villains, our big villains. Marquis de Sade 1 and 2. It's literally just the big villains from the last time. Marquis de Sade. Twice. Just again, it's two of them. Two of them, and they're using dark magic this time.
The main guy is played by Alexander Goodenough, who is a famous kind of
Who
Russian.
looks like Marquis de Sade and acts like Marquis de Sade and does everything like Marquis de Sade.
Kind of like the smaller, kind of like subordinate one who acts really cool.
Looks like Marquis de Sade, acts like Marquis de Sade, and is wearing the same outfit as Marquis de Sade from the first film.
It's
pretty much the same guy.
And it was
He's
pretty.
also hilarious though because of one line.
Well, Michael Barr is famous for MacGyver.
Yeah.
He was the main bad guy from MacGyver.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
He has that fucking hilarious line where she's like, screw it, kill the bitch. And then he goes, totally. And then immediately jumps into things. And I'm like, yes, absolutely.
It is really, really cool. This is the longest of the stories.
Because
and it's the crux of it. And it sets up the rest of the mythology, too.
And through this entire time, we're like, wow, what an amazing plot to a
TV series.
Like a
this
TV series. This is the pilot. right here. And it's helped by Sir Wilfrid appearing again as a raven.
So another Raven reference. Too,
yeah, and her losing her fucking mind again. Yeah, but he explains that God and the devil have this place called Carantha or something like that. Yeah. I didn't pay attention to the name. But I
was just too amazed with the
movie was really good. But it's this alternate dimension where they thought they were going through time, but they weren't. They were actually going through different periods of this alternate dimension, which they explained as God's Nintendo game.
Yeah, I love that reference, actually.
Him and the devil repeatedly fight throughout different, like, variations of battles of good and evil. And they have these things called Time Warriors that go to the situations, take the place of an important character in that situation, and the good ones have to always win, because if the bad ones lose, it's not one of those, like, the world is destroyed, which I kind of enjoy, because I thought it was going to be like, if you lose, the world is destroyed forever. But if you lose, major disasters will happen on Earth.
So that explains, like famine and earthquakes and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is really interesting, actually. And I think if there were a series about this, there could totally be an episode where he loses at one point, he has to deal with the guilt of that shit. There could have been characters that fought, like, because they say Time Warriors in the concept of, like, this is gods, but the devil could have some too, and that would have been really interesting too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. This would have been crazy.
Remember that series where the girl used to like go back a day? I think it was the Lajadushka.
Yeah, it was. True Calling?
Yeah, True Calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jason Priestley comes into it, and he's like the bad version of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. That would have been cool.
But he explains that to him and lets him go, and he's like, "You're one of God's chosen Time Warriors," and that's when I was like, Time Warriors, episode 1.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He goes into the final battle, which got a lot of cool, like, fight things.
Also would be a kick-ass video game.
It would. The best fight scene I've seen in a movie in a long, long, long time is the ending freaking sword fight with the main villain, known as the Master. Yeah, he's also shapeshifts, by the way. He shapeshifts.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
and they fight through time. That's which... Once again,
well, the shape-shifting thing comes from this, like, this kind of, like,
dark
sacrifice.
magic sort of sacrifice
that
thing.
He does. It's actually pretty cool.
They sword fight through times and dimensions and genres.
It is awesome.
They have a part, like, the first time that they start sword fighting, they transfer into... God, where's the transfer to first? I know it's somewhere not too far from their time. They, like, fall out into something, and it's, like, something similar... But then they immediately go to Dawn of the Dead.
It's really cool.
If you actually check the credits, the characters that are around are named Argento and Romero.
Yeah, it's true. It's really cool.
It's super. They're just fighting they're fighting each other while fighting zombies, while guns are being shot and killing the zombies in the middle of the mall. And I'm like, this scene is so freaking cool. And then they hit each other again. And they go to Jack the Ripper, like
Jack the Ripper. Cuts off the zombie's hand and keeps it.
Keeps it because it's important for that stuff. But they fight Jack the Ripper time, and because Time Warrior, good guy him, he runs over and he stops Jack the Ripper and he kicks him in through a portal into Nosferatu, which is where we see Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. And at that point, Nosferatu turns around and goes after Jack the Ripper, which is awesome.
Absolutely. And they fight in there for a couple minutes, and then they transfer over again into Godzilla.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which was awesome. And then it goes back to the boring stuff of the girl who's awful.
Actually, it's not actually too boring at this point, because she's doing the fight in a bar.
Who's
and
awesome.
That's actually really good. That fight is actually
he's awesome, but she's boring. And then they suddenly appear again through the time portal with a robot. A robot just wanders out.
It is awesome. So they've obviously gone through other time periods that we haven't seen. And we're like, damn!
There's a lot of that, like, oh man.
Even there's one sequence where she actually looks... She goes through for a second, remember?
Yeah. He's like, we can't go through the time portal again because look, and he pushes her out, and they're like running down the road, like, oh look, the pods, and like they're being chased and stuff like that, and he pulls her out, and like, it's just another different time in Corinthia or something like that. And so he at the end, he sends her back.
And because only one of them can get back. So he sends her back with the and when he has the hand there when she reaches there.
Yeah, he's like, here, take the hand. You can prove that you didn't do stuff. And near the beginning of the film, she almost looks at a painting, which originally I thought was going to be the Marquis de Sade again, and she was going to look at him and be like, oh shit, the Marquis de Sade. But it's actually him who became a knight because of his adventures there.
Yeah, he's actually
She's
had just a big kind of take a kind of cool like goatee beard.
Yeah, and she's like, oh no. So they go to court, and she's like, well, zombie hands. So what do you guys think? And they're like, for some reason, there's still a ruling. There's not like a reanimated dead zombie hand.
Yeah,
Stop the presses. There's zombie hand.
Yeah, usually that would be okay. Case is thrown out of court.
Yeah,
zombie
clearly,
hand is here.
Like,
but no, the actual
government's coming in. We got to deal with this.
So what's your verdict? What do you mean? What's your verdict?
Was it her or the living hand that's just wandering around?
which said existed.
And they let her go, and like they come out. she goes down on the steps, and the oldest courier system comes to her and is like, "Here you go.
My grandfather's
had this. He's like, we've had this. This is the oldest letter we've ever had. It's just for you." And he opens it, and it's one of the time devices, and it says "Join me." Or she, sorry, opens it, and it's one of the time devices. It says "Join me," which I didn't get because Corinthia is actually another dimension, not a different time. But at the same time, I think they like. Yeah, it gets her there.
It's Time Warriors still.
It's still Time Warriors. And technically, I guess, because the Waxworks were portals into that thing, there are, like, some overlap. And Jack the Ripper is a real thing. So
and it explains the Waxworks, which weren't explained really well.
They were explained as snippets of time in the first film. In this one, it's explained these are
much
different.
Better, more deeper. Right?
Yeah, these are different parts of the events in Corinthia. Which, like, technically lowers the scale, because the whole premise of the other one was that, like, they're releasing all the demons, but it, like, puts it on a better scale.
Even on a higher scale.
It's a higher, but, like, a different scale. I like the fact that it's not world-ending. It's not like, oh, no, you lose, you're screwed. It's more, like, indirect, like, you lose.
It could have set up for, like, a major, like, a TV series or sequels. Or
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to it. There's so much to it.
And wait, let's get to what's even more epic, and this was freaking epic. I actually loved it.
We finished the movie, and we were like, Dad was like, "Do you want to do a review of this movie?" I'm like, "You damn right, I want to do a review of this movie. This movie was amazing. I can't believe how different from Waxworks 2." And then like we started hearing a beat, and there was an earlier thing where we were joking about like hip hop because we started to hear a beat earlier too, and then suddenly, like, a Straight Outta Compton like group comes out,
Literally.
like a rappers, and they're like in the middle of one of the earlier scenes, and I'm like, what? And they start rapping, like they full on start rapping.
We literally get a music video.
You see scenes from the film, and then them in full scenes, like it's clear that they are there, like just on set rapping, and I'm like, what
it's awesome.
The fuck just happened?
It is awesome. It's awesome, and the song is actually pretty decent.
Trapped in Time, the song.
Let
me see if I can remember it. Trapped in time like a bug in a jar, no matter where you go, there you are.
It is really cool, actually.
It's hilarious.
Oh, and you also have to say this. Who is the stunt guy in this movie?
Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder is a stunt guy.
Too. That's also a thing.
This movie is freaking awesome. This is a horror fan's horror movie. Bar none. This is literally... I'm honestly going to give it a perfect score.
Yeah, the only thing that it, like,
I know that you found the girl annoying, but I think she needed that.
It's fine because they would have changed it for the series. I mean, they would change him. They would have changed him too, sadly. But well, actually, I don't know. He was in some kind of smaller stuff. He might have done that, and he probably would have liked it.
Zach Galligan. Actually, I was asked recently by Leroy Green what happened to Zach Galligan, and so I did actually give a response. But Zach Galligan, of course, you guys know, was in Gremlins, and he would later go on to be in Gremlins too. But he actually went off and did like did college, and kind of went out of the thing. What he said in recent interviews, interviews afterwards, was that he should have went straight to L.A. and like struck while the iron was hot, and he should have, because Zach Galligan, one, is a really good actor. He's really personable, good looking dude. I definitely would have made it. He was one of the guys that went for Marty McFly, and he probably would have had it, but he kind of just half-heartedly sent in a taped edition rather than go to there. And but you know, history.
I wonder now if I'd like to see look at the backgrounds of this film, because I wonder if because this film almost was exactly like a pilot to a show. I wonder if this was around the time he was going to college, and they were just like, "Hey, do you want to do a show?" And he was like, "I'm going to college, man."
talk for another minute because I have to do something.
What? Yeah. Okay, I don't know what to talk about.
Because there's one thing that I have to point out here about this film.
This reminds me of why I liked Sliders so much until the Cro-Mags were introduced, which was awful. By the way, I hate the Cro-Mags.
Anthony Hickox, the director of Waxworks and Waxworks 2, is he's an amazing director. He also directed a little film that I'm picking up in October as part of a box set. And that film would be called...
I can't see that. Oh. Really?
Yeah.
I hate Hellraiser 3.
Yeah, he directed Hellraiser 3. Oh, snap.
That doesn't do anything. It's awful.
It's not.
Hellraiser 3 is awful.
It was gory, too. You maybe saw the rated version. Did you watch that on Netflix?
No, I didn't watch it on Netflix. Watched it.
Anyway, so the reason I call this video unrated is because Waxworks 2, when it originally came out, it did have a really rated copy.
Shirts off. About to get unrated.
That would be really disturbing.
But who doesn't want to see shirtless Matthew?
This is this is really unrated. Although this is R-rated, it definitely is the unrated cut. There's a lot of gore.
So gory, and it's fun too.
And it's not in a bad gore way. You know, if you're not a gore fan, you're still going to really enjoy this because
it's fun gore.
It's so over the top. It's so funny. It is a great movie. What's your score, dude?
Like a super the best. The only thing I could take away points on it for, other than the girl, is the fact that it's not a TV series, and that pisses me off because I want to watch more of that. I really want to see that would have been really fun.
So
really fun.
I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 bags of salt. I love this. I really do. Waxworks 2 and Waxworks. They're both fantastic films. You've seen us review Waxworks before. Matthew actually did that.
I did.
And he did actually the brunt of this review as well and did an awesome job, by the way, guys.
I like anthology. What can I say?
Waxworks 2, Lost in Time. Doesn't it make you want to sing the song immediately as soon as you hear the line?
Lost in time like a bug in a jar, no matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah, it does. It really does. You've got to, if you haven't seen this movie, you owe
watch
it to
through
yourself.
the credits too. You have to watch the rap. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and just read the credits too. There's some hilarious stuff.
Holy crap.
It's great. It's really a fantastic movie. You got Bruce Campbell on here. You have there's a ton of people. Kane Hodder, all these guys working together. And you know, the only time I saw Bruce Campbell and Kane Hodder together, was when I was getting my picture taken with Bruce Campbell, Kane Hodder, and Robert England.
Oh man,
gotta brag about that.
If you'd only known about that at the time, you could have asked both of them about Waxwork too.
I totally would have actually.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been something different asked rather than
hey, what was your guys' experience on Waxwork 2? That was an amazing movie.
Yeah. I want to know how they found work with
that. About stuff like that.
If I ever go to another convention with them,
I'd be like, hey guys, probably don't remember.
I'll bring this.
Waxwork 2. This is Waxwork 2. Sign Waxwork 2. Waxwork 2 is really good.
Please, Screen Factory or Arrow, please, one of you guys, put out the Waxworks films with some awesome special features.
Also, somebody make like a genre-oriented horror movie TV show.
You go to university and come out and make your own Waxworks.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna meet. Well, hello Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well, what is it you want to make, Matthew? Waxworks. I want to make Waxworks again, but as a show, you want to make what? House of Wax? No, not House of Wax. Waxworks. You've never heard of it, but it's really good. It's got the guy from Gremlins in it. It's cool. Oh, it's such a good movie. Maybe you're holding out on me again. There's Waxwork 3. You don't even remember it.
No,
we'll find it no, there's not.
I wish. You wish too, don't you?
Yeah.
That's great. But this is an Artesian double feature. Waxworks films. Both of them are on here, and it's great. I love the fact that they have the insert. And it's got Waxworks on one side and Waxworks 2 on the other. That is Alexander Goodenough there in the poster. They actually, it was a big enough name at the time that they put him on the poster. I think he was also the bad guy for a movie.